That was beautiful. Thank you very much, Ray. Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you all for joining the Florida Bar Foundation for this virtual award ceremony. My name is Steve Sen, and I'm honored to serve as the president of the Bar Foundation. Thank you to my fellow board member, Ray Reed, for sharing his musical talents, which you just heard. Ray was also kind enough to record a musical benediction to begin our ceremony. Thank you again, Ray, for that joyous and celebratory opener for our proceedings today. And I'd like to thank also Ed Fernandez from Executive Video for donating his recording services. Now I'd like to ask retired Florida Supreme Court Justice Peggy Quince to please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
And if you would stand, if you can, and recite with me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United
States of America
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Thank you, Justice Quince. As many of you know, for more than 40 years, the Florida Bar Foundation has celebrated our award winners annually at a dinner held during the Florida Bar Convention. This year, of course, we have had to adjust our events format for everyone's safety, and we very much appreciate all of your willingness to join us virtually to continue our tradition of honoring our award winners. Many of you joining us today are Foundation Fellows and members of our Lifetime Giving Societies. Thank you for your generosity and continued support of the Foundation. I would also like to express gratitude to our sponsors who made this event possible. They will be recognized on your screen, and you will meet some of their representatives today as they introduce our award winners. Thanks to all. The Florida Bar Foundation's mission is to provide greater access to justice in Florida. So before we meet our award winners, I'd like to introduce Viviana Bonilla Lopez. Viviana is an Equal Justice Works Fellow supported by the Foundation. She is in the second year of her fellowship working with Disability Rights Florida. Viviana's story will give you insight into how our funding is improving the lives of Floridians. If you have any trouble hearing any of our speakers today, please be sure to increase the volume on your computer.
My name is Viviana Bonilla Lopez, and I'm an Equal Justice Works Fellow sponsored by the Florida Bar Foundation at Disability Rights Florida. Thanks to the Florida Bar Foundation, I'm able to provide legal services, community education, and legislative advocacy to promote supported decision-making as an alternative to guardianship. Supported decision-making allows people with disabilities to make their own decisions with the support of people that they trust. Oftentimes, judges, parents, and others turn to guardianship because they don't know of another way to help people with disabilities. But guardianship can be very severe. If you're found incapacitated by a judge, you could lose the right to vote, to get married, to make decisions about your social life, like who your friends are and when you see your family, to decide where you live, to sign a contract, to bring lawsuits, and to make medical choices or decide what happens with your money. If you think about it, how we make decisions about these rights is what makes us who we are. So it's a really big deal to take this away from someone, and we only want to do it when nothing else is going to work. The Florida Bar Foundation has supported us in addressing the overutilization of guardianship and promoting supported decision-making as an alternative. One key way that we've done this is by providing legal services to people with disabilities who either want to avoid a guardianship or get out of one using supported decision-making. We have been able to assist over 68 people since we started in September of 2019, and that number is growing every day. You may have read about Tyler Borjas. He's a young adult with autism whose case we brought, and he was featured on the front page of the Miami Herald twice. He just got his rights back in November by telling the court, listen, I can exercise my rights, and I do that using supported decision-making. Another key component is community education. I've been able to present to over 730 people, including judges, judicial staff, parents, school advisors, and people with disabilities themselves, teaching them how to use supported decision-making. This work is critical because if we reach these stakeholders at a juncture where they're making these decisions about whether or not to pursue guardianship, we can really make an impact. The third component of our work is legislative advocacy. We've been drafting and are soon to introduce into the 2021 legislative session a law that would actually put supported decision-making on the books in Florida. It would require judges to consider supported decision-making before doing a guardianship and provide a guide on how to use supported decision-making. This work has really been disability-led. Our coalition is co-led with Michael Lincoln, who's the first person in Florida to terminate his guardianship using supported decision-making. And Michael and I have been working with a lot of disability rights organizations as well as people who are directly impacted by the guardianship system. You can learn more about our bill and our campaign at www.idecideflorida.org. Thank you so much to the Florida Bar Foundation for all of your support. You have been making this work happen, and your impact is only growing every day. We're very grateful, and we hope that you all have a wonderful night celebrating the Florida Bar Foundation.
Thank you, Viviana, for the inspiring legal work you do. As we turn to recognize this year's honorees, let's keep in mind that the great work they have done was not undertaken by them in hopes of winning an award from the Florida Bar Foundation or from anyone else. While each honoree certainly merits recognition for the great work they have done, we do not recognize these honorees as any kind of consideration for services rendered. These recognitions and awards are important not as payment to make them feel good, although we hope it does, but instead because the light we shine on their good works will hopefully serve to inspire the rest of us to look for opportunities in our own lives by which we might serve the mission of justice. And so as we look back at the commendable actions of today's honorees who served this mission so well and continue to do so, I trust that their examples will inspire future actions to continue to serve that mission. The need will always be there, and it is important to continue to recruit good people to help serve that need. Joining us now is Hala Sandridge, the Foundation's immediate past president. Hala's firm, Buchanan, Ingersoll & Rooney, is the sponsor of our 2020 President's Award.
Thank you, Steve. The President's Award for Excellence recognizes outstanding work on behalf of the Foundation and is presented annually. I'm pleased to give the 2020 award to Chief Judge Timothy J. Corrigan and Judges Roy B. Dalton Jr., Marcia Morales Howard, and William G. Young. These 4 judges of the Middle District of Florida oversaw the Engle Tobacco Litigation Review that produced monies which were entrusted to the Foundation to disperse to legal aid organizations. The court ordered $3.6 million be used by the Foundation to promote robust, professional, ethical, and competent representation of low-income Floridians. This kind of funding is so very important in Florida, where there is no state funding of legal aid, and IOTA funds are as volatile and fragile as the economy and interest rates. The court's bold, innovative, and prudent choice to designate this case's funds for the good of our state's most vulnerable is a testament to the ingenuity, commitment to the rule of law, and dedication to the principles of equal justice for all. After receiving the funds, the Foundation immediately went to work creating the Engle Grant Program and dispersing grants to 10 legal aid organizations. In Tampa, Bay Area Legal Services is providing eviction defense litigation and clear title actions. In Southwest Florida, Legal Aid Service of Collier County is providing consumer litigation to seniors, veterans, and families. And in Gainesville, Southern Legal Counsel is providing civil rights litigation for people experiencing homelessness. Jacksonville Area Legal Aid's Modified Civil Gideon Access Project is providing litigation for housing, consumer, and immigration. Throughout the Middle District of Florida, from Fort Myers to Tampa, to Ocala, Gainesville, and to Jacksonville, these funds are making a real difference in providing direct legal representation for people who would have otherwise had to go it alone. I'd now like to introduce Chief Judge Corrigan, who will make remarks on behalf of the court.
Well, thank you, Madam President. My 3 colleagues asked me if I would speak on their behalf today, and to, first of all, thank you all so much for this recognition. You know, when we first approached the Florida Bar Foundation about administering the distribution of the Engle sanctions money, we told the foundation that we did not wish to receive any recognition because we viewed that decision as just part of our job as judges. However, as time went on, we were persuaded that if this recognition would help shed light on the need for more funding for civil legal aid, and if it might provide an example to some of our judicial colleagues, we would gratefully accept it. So it's in that spirit that Judges Young, Howard, Dalton, and I, all of whom are on the Zoom today, accept the President's Award for Excellence. As I do not need to tell this group, the current unmet need for legal services for the poor in the state of Florida is staggering, and our current efforts to address that need are grossly inadequate. The number of legal aid lawyers statewide is minuscule compared to the demand, as is legal aid funding. Pro bono efforts by members of the bar, while laudable, do not come close to significantly narrowing the access to justice gap. The Chief Justice's Florida Commission on Access to Civil Justice, on which I served as a member, has championed non-lawyer solutions, such as improved use of technology to some good effect. But at times, overall, it feels like we are trying to empty the ocean with a teaspoon. One bright spot in this effort has been the work of the Florida Bar Foundation. Throughout its storied history, the Florida Bar Foundation has been a national leader in the access to justice field. It's no exaggeration to say that the Florida Bar Foundation is the glue that holds together legal aid efforts here in Florida. I know that the foundation is facing significant challenges and that the future is uncertain. But advocating for access to civil justice for the poor is a cause worth the fight. After all, we Florida lawyers all took an oath that we would never reject, from any consideration personal to ourselves, the cause of the defenseless or oppressed. My colleagues and I salute you for your hard work and all of your efforts, and we gratefully thank you for this award. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Hala, and thank you, Chief Judge Corrigan, and thanks as well to your colleagues on the court. Next, former Foundation President Maria Henderson will present the Goldstein-Van Nortwick Award, which honors the great work done by Foundation grant recipients. Maria?
The Goldstein-Van Nortwick Award recognizes a legal aid project of significant impact undertaken by a Florida Bar Foundation grantee. To be eligible, projects must benefit a substantial number of poor persons, address an important poverty law issue, involve a significant commitment of the program's resources and staff, and reflect legal work of a high professional level. The Stephen M. Goldstein Award for Excellence was established by the Foundation in 1995 to honor the memory of Steve, who was a former legal services attorney and law professor at Florida State College of Law. At the time of his death, Steve was chair of the Legal Assistance for the Poor Grant Committee, and he was about to be inducted as the Secretary-Treasurer of the Foundation. Last year, the award was renamed the Goldstein-Van Nortwick Award for Excellence in honor of my late husband, Bill Van Nortwick. Bill served as a Foundation president and had decades of leadership in pro bono and legal services. Bill and Steve were very close friends for many years, and they spent time together running and kayaking. They were both wholly committed to improving Florida's justice system and did so with grace and passion. The award honors the life, legacy, and friendship of these two champions committed to those less fortunate, while remaining true to the highest principles of the judicial system. This legacy created the touchstone which we measure excellence. This year's Goldstein-Van Nortwick Award recipient is Florida Legal Services. Florida Legal Services and co-counsel Rights Florida brought a rights lawsuit in the Middle District of Florida, challenging the systemic inadequacy of mental health treatment for thousands incarcerated in the Florida Department of Corrections inpatient prison units. The complaint, premised on the 8th Amendment and Americans with Disabilities Act, called for massive reform of the system. After a year-long mediation, the Florida Department of Corrections agreed to a settlement agreement, including judicial oversight by the federal court and independent outside monitoring for 2 years. The suit exposed abysmal treatment, isolation, and neglect of people who were supposed to be receiving inpatient hospital care who didn't get it. The required changes will cost more than $32 million, according to the Florida Department of Corrections. Our first runner-up is Florida Health Justice Project, working with Jacksonville Area Legal Aid and Special Counsel Disability Rights Florida. Their Medicaid ex parte review project safeguards access to critical health care for some of Florida's most vulnerable residents, those with complex diagnoses and disabilities, including individuals adopted out of foster care. Using a medical legal partnership and a multi-pronged advocacy approach, including individual administrative advocacy, records requests, and ultimately class action litigation, the project accomplished relief for thousands by reforming Florida's flawed Medicaid ex parte review process. And our second runner-up is Florida Justice Institute. Florida Justice Institute spent a year investigating the lack of treatment of hepatitis C in prisons. They interviewed prisoners, reviewed medical records, targeted public records requests, and consulted with experts. They filed a lawsuit seeking a declaration that the practice was unconstitutional, and after more than 2 years of litigation, Florida Justice Institute secured the nation's first class action preliminary injunction on this subject, and then secured a final order. The orders require the state to identify, test, evaluate, and treat an estimated 20,000 Florida prisoners with hepatitis C. As a result, the state has invested nearly $40 million for improvements. The case has also likely prevented hundreds of deaths from liver failure and alleviated the suffering of hundreds of more, all while ensuring that the disease cannot be spread when the prisoners are released. Our congratulations should be sent to all these fine programs for their hard work and impressive results. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Maria. It is now my honor to present the Jane Elizabeth Curran Distinguished Service Award on behalf of my firm, Peterson Myers. This year's winner is Kathy Para, who recently retired as Director of Pro Bono for Jacksonville Area Legal Aid, who we generally refer to as JALA. The award is named for the foundation's first executive director, Jane Elizabeth Curran, recognizing individuals who, over their careers, have achieved meaningful, effective, and lasting increases in access to civil justice for the poor in Florida. Kathy graduated from the University of Central Florida and worked as a speech therapist before deciding to go to law school in 2000. She graduated with honors from Florida Coastal School of Law, and by 2008, she had completed more than 50 pro bono emancipation cases, earning her the Florida Bar President's Pro Bono Award. In 2009, she joined JALA as its Pro Bono Development Coordinator. At JALA, Kathy oversaw an online case review system, helped start the Federal Bar Clinic, and added more intake and informational clinical opportunities. Her innovative approach and incentives for pro bono lawyers increased participation. The average number of JALA's closed pro bono cases increased by 27% over 10 years, and the number of lawyers participating increased by 72%. Kathy served as the chair of the Jacksonville Bar Association's Pro Bono Committee for 9 years and wrote a weekly column about pro bono lawyers for the Jacksonville Daily Record. She retired last year. And now Kathy has a few remarks to share with us.
This award is a great honor to me. It's humbling, and I'm very appreciative. Are you listening today, Jane Curran? Because if you are, I want to thank you for your work to stabilize funding for legal services organizations across Florida and actually across the nation. Your groundbreaking work made the work of all of us possible, and thousands of families have benefited. Thank you. The work I was privileged to do was a very meaningful challenge to me, and I was lucky to have the opportunity. What a privilege it was for me to work with the staff of Jacksonville Area Legal Aid. They were focused, professional, and determined, and I can tell you I was inspired by each person there. I was also inspired by the pro bono directors across the state, the members of the Florida Pro Bono Coordinators Association, sharing ideas, support, and encouragement. They will tell you that as pro bono directors, we're just the conduit. Maybe we're able to be the bridge from a person in need to an attorney who's able to help. You will not meet a more tireless group of professionals staying the course and trying new projects to help facilitate more clients receiving assistance. I drew inspiration from the clients, from their determination to seek answers. They were dignified and they were appreciative. And of course, I was inspired by and learned from the hundreds of pro bono attorneys who stepped up to help a person with a bankruptcy, a divorce, a probate matter, a driver's license reinstatement, an eviction, a foreclosure, sealing a criminal arrest record. Hundreds of pro bono attorneys were there for veterans, for immigrants, for children with special needs, parents, senior citizens, the vulnerable and the marginalized. These attorneys, for me, represent the very best in our profession. These attorneys foster a culture of giving and commitment that make our justice system stronger and more fair for all. How lucky I was to see that happening and to be a part of it. So to so many, I say thank you to Jane, to the staff of JALA, to the Florida Pro Bono Coordinators Association, to the clients, to the hundreds of pro bono attorneys. I've learned from you, and I value what you've taught me and how you've inspired me. You've made a lasting difference in the lives of thousands of Floridians, and I'm deeply grateful to have seen you in action and to have been a part of it all. So keep up the amazing work, and thank you for this award.
Thank you, Kathy, for all of your hard work and dedication and for all of the good work you have done for so many. I am now pleased to introduce our Medal of Honor presenting sponsor, Florida Lawyers Mutual Insurance Company, and one of their directors, Ava Doppelt. The Florida Lawyers Mutual Insurance Company has sponsored the Medal of Honor Award for many years, and we sincerely thank them for their continued sponsorship of the Foundation's highest award.
Thank you, Steve. Florida Lawyers Mutual Insurance Company is a longtime supporter of the Florida Bar Foundation and its mission. And as always, we are very proud to sponsor the Foundation's annual Medal of Honor Award ceremony, albeit in a different format than usual. This year, 3 extraordinary individuals are receiving the Medal of Honor. 2 lawyers, Judge Peter T. Fay and Judge James Lawrence King, and 1 non-lawyer, Dr. Mimi Graham. The Medal of Honor Award recognizes outstanding achievements in the improvement of the administration of justice. And if I could go off script just for a moment, I personally am so honored to participate in the presentation of these awards. Every year the recipients are impressive, but the 2 judges receiving the award in a few minutes are legendary. And it's wonderful that we have this opportunity to acknowledge and thank them for their long years of service. I'd like to turn over the presentation to Judge Paul Huck, who nominated the judges for their joint Medal of Honor.
Judge, you need to unmute.
You're on mute, Judge.
Judge?
Start over, Judge, please, and unmute, Your Honor.
You're good now. Should be.
This is the new technology of which I'm not particularly capable. But in any event, today, as we celebrate 100 years of judicial excellence, I recall that as a young lawyer, I sat in the ceremonial courtroom in the Southern District of Florida, October 30th, 50 years ago. I sensed that I was witnessing an important and unique judicial event, the dual investitures of 2 United States district judges, trial lawyer extraordinaire Peter T. Pete Fay, my first boss, and James Lawrence Larry King, a distinguished state trial judge. Little did I know then that it was the beginning of 100 years of the unparalleled judicial excellence of 2 of the finest judges ever to serve our community, not to mention 2 extraordinary human beings. Before I get to the award, as an aside, I know the judges would be disappointed if I didn't acknowledge that their good friends and colleagues, Judges Paul Rooney and Jerry Choflat of the Middle District, joined them in that extraordinary October 1970 class of brand new district judges. That was truly an all-star judicial lineup. On to the award. The Foundation's Medal of Honor criteria state, quote, "The Medal of Honor will be awarded to a member of the Florida Bar who has demonstrated his or her dedication to the objectives of the Florida Bar, to inculcate in its members the principles of duty and service to the public, to improve the administration of justice, and to advance the science of jurisprudence." Judges King and Fay not only meet the Medal of Honor criteria, they far exceed them. While Judges King and Fay share many qualities and experience, each has traveled his own 50-year path to this event. Judge Fay was, for many years, a highly successful civil trial lawyer, generally recognized by his peers as one of the very best in the state of Florida. He then spent 5 years on our district court. And anyone who tried a case before Judge Fay, as I have had the pleasure to do, knows that he was a trial lawyer's ideal trial judge. He then joined the 5th, now the 11th Circuit Court of Appeals, where his renowned common sense and practical intellect were on full display. Not surprising, Judge Fay was often mentioned as a potential candidate for the United States Supreme Court. After practicing law in Miami for some years, Judge King began his judicial career as a Dade County Civil Court judge, earning a well-deserved reputation as one of the outstanding young, at least young at that time, trial judges. Judge King is generally regarded as the heart and soul of our district court. While serving as its chief judge, through his Herculean efforts, vision, and leadership, he led our court through demanding times and challenges, to the point where the Southern District of Florida is considered among our nation's preeminent district courts. So when I saw the Florida Bar Foundation was seeking nominees for its 2020 Medal of Honor, Judges Fay and King came immediately to my mind as the obvious choices, jointly and individually. And in what better way can we celebrate their combined century of judicial service? Not surprising, the foundation, in its wisdom, agreed. So here we are, recognizing and thanking in some small way 2 judges, 2 human beings who personify the highest aspirational goals of our profession, of our society, who have been exemplary role models and mentors for literally hundreds and hundreds of younger lawyers and judges. In my well-informed view, Judge King and Judge Fay are each the epitome of what every member of the Florida Bar should strive to be, whether as a lawyer or as a judge. And of course, I'm not alone. As 2 former presidents of the Florida Bar, Steve Zack and Alan Diamond, observed in support of this nomination, quote, "Judge King and Judge Fay have long been among the major foundations of South Florida's legal profession, combined for over 100 years. They are each icons in our legal community. This is because they stand for the finest principles of our profession, including integrity, courage, dedication, and kindness." Nominees to the Federal Judicial Nominating Committee often cite each of them as examples of the kind of judge they would aspire to if selected. As a personal aside, I must acknowledge I did just that when I applied. Going back to the quote, Judge Fay and Judge King have each been and remain South Florida's gold standard of judicial excellence. Both have handled the most difficult and sensitive cases to come before our federal courts with brilliance and elegance. Close quote. And 3 distinguished, experienced trial lawyers who have often appeared before these judges over the years, enthusiastically endorsed by pointing out that, quote, "These judges are the epitome of what judges ought to be. They exemplify fairness, brilliance, demeanor, while doing justice to all who come before them. They are also great human beings, as family men, and inspiring mentors to all who come in contact with them. They always use the power of their office to follow and advance the rule of law," close quote. My limited time does not permit me to even mention, much less discuss, the exhaustive list of the judge's professional and personal contributions, accomplishments, and awards. I recommend that you take the time to review them on the Florida Bar Foundation's website. You will be very, very impressed. Even I, who have known these judges for 55 years, was unaware of the full extent of the contributions each has made to our profession and to our community. Suffice it to say that since Judge Fay and Judge King took their oaths of office 50 years ago, they, following somewhat parallel paths, have exemplified the highest ideals of what a judge should be. For decades, each has devoted his professional life to service to the public and the legal profession in particular, to improve the administration of justice and to advance the aspirational goals of our profession. It is not without compelling justification that Judge Fay has an in-court and a law school named in his honor, and that Judge King has a federal courthouse named after him and has received the prestigious Devitt Award, the highest honor bestowed on an Article III judge by his or her peers. I cannot think of two human beings who are more deserving of the Medal of Honor. And perhaps more importantly, Judge Fay and Judge King are simply all-around, down-to-earth, good guys, caring human beings, deeply committed to their faith, their family, their country, and their profession. I can say with the greatest conviction that they are two of the most accomplished, yet sincerely humble people, not to mention judges, that I and countless others have had the privilege of having them as our role models. Their unparalleled service to our profession and our community is given for all the right and unselfish reasons, never for self-promotion, recognition, or reward. Yet, I suspect that even these honestly humble human beings don't mind being noticed once in a while. They would not be human otherwise. Well, today, by these medals of honor, we not only notice you, Judge Fay and Judge King, we also enthusiastically celebrate and thank you for your 100 years of judicial excellence and for your lifetimes of personal excellence. While we honor the judges with the Medal of Honor, it occurs to me, and I'm confident the judges wholeheartedly agree, that the best way that we can truly honor them and their joint legacies is to emulate their professionalism, their civility, and their fundamental goodness, to sincerely strive to be the very best lawyer, judge, human beings that we can be. Now, as some of you know, the Medal of Honor is usually awarded in person at the Florida Bar Convention. However, as we all know, this year is anything but usual. Nevertheless, the foundation recently delivered the Medals of Honor in person to Judges Fay and King. In response, the judges shared some of their thoughts on our judicial system and gave advice to young lawyers on video. And we're going to share a little bit of that with you in just a moment. But first, on a personal note, if I may, Judge Fay, Judge King, I want you to know how proud and grateful I am that each of you has been to me as you've been for so many others. My mentor, my role model, my colleague, most important, my dear friend. Thank you, Larry. Thank you, Pete. God bless you.
I've always been very, very proud to be a member of the Florida Bar. And I think the lawyers do an excellent job with their briefs and oral argument in the Court of Appeal. And I really enjoyed the 6 years I spent as a trial judge. Florida lawyers are really top-notch. And I've always felt that way, with very few exceptions. They're really outstanding, and I only wish I knew more of them. It's been wonderful. The second thing I'd like to say is I'm really thrilled to share this award with Judge James Lawrence King. We have been, as I say, we've been friends for a little over 60 years and have had a marvelous relationship, even though every now and then I grade his paper and reverse him. But we just had a real nice relationship. Well, I don't know that I've made any great contribution. I've tried about 300 cases So I think I know a little bit about trial work, but as I say, I was very fortunate. Bill Colson taught me how to try a lawsuit, and then I worked with Bill Freites, who I think was as good a lawyer as you could have. He was just a great, great trial lawyer. And he really instilled in me respect for the courts, respect for the system. Do what's right, don't do what's wrong. Very humbled. I know there are a lot of good people practicing law. The Florida bar is a great bar. And I've always really been so proud to be a member.
The young lawyers today, what advice would you give them?
I would tell them to remember that perhaps most priceless thing they have is their reputation. And they should always be aware and be careful never to even accidentally or innocently do something that would leave a black mark on their record, their professional record. Be careful, be thorough, and the way you can do this is to work very hard and be thoroughly prepared every time you come to court. And the ones that I remember, the young lawyers that come in, and I always talk to them when I learn that they've just been a short time out of law school, is to talk to them about any suggestions or advice that I have that may help them in their presentation. And I urge young lawyers to, when they have that opportunity, to talk with a judge, a senior partner, a colleague that deals with things like probation, the U.S. Marshals, to talk with people and learn from them, to take advantage of that. And you'll be successful, but always be professional in your conduct and your preparation and your work.
Thank you.
Thank you, Judge Heck. It's now my honor to virtually present the Medal of Honor Award for a non-lawyer to Dr. Mimi Graham. I feel like we should say, instead of non-lawyer, a professional and a scholar. And I know this is a hard act to follow. Thank you to the Foundation's first Vice President, my friend Judge Suzanne Van Wyk, for delivering the award in person last month. Dr. Graham is the director of Florida State University's Center for Prevention and Early Intervention Policy. She is being honored with the 2020 Medal of Honor for a non-lawyer for her dedicated efforts over the course of her career researching and promoting trauma-informed court programs. Since 1993, she has worked to tackle policy situations to social problems during the critical period from pregnancy to age 3. In a 2001 opinion, the Florida Supreme Court urged identifying services and crafting solutions that are appropriate for long-term stability and that minimize the need for subsequent court action by infusing therapeutic jurisprudence in Florida courts and by educating lawyers, judges, and guardians ad litem and court staff regarding the science of trauma and trauma-informed practice. And I just want to say that's the longest sentence I've ever read. In 2005, Dr. Graham and her colleague, Barbara White, created the FSU Young Parents Project, an intensive program that addressed the complex trauma needs of delinquency in court-involved pregnant and parenting teens. Proven outcomes of the program are reduced recidivism, fewer subsequent teen pregnancies, and increased education. Several years later, Dr. Graham helped establish Florida's early childhood courts, which optimize child safety and well-being while expediting permanency and breaking the multi-generational cycle of child abuse by infusing early childhood science, attachment research, and mental health intervention in the courts. There are now 25 ECCs across Florida. Dr. Graham co-founded the Florida Association for Infant Mental Health in 2002. In 2014, she was appointed to the Florida Supreme Court Steering Committee on Families and Children in the Court, where she educated judicial leaders about the link between early trauma and court involvement. She is a fellow of 0 to 3 National Center for Infants, Toddlers, and Families, and she received the 2019 Voice for Children Award. She is also a recipient of the 2017 Florida Tax Watch Productivity Award for Early Childhood Court and Legal Services of North Florida's Children's Advocate Award. Dr. Graham's achievements are remarkable, and I'm proud to be able to participate in this award. Now we have a video response from Dr. Graham.
I'm so grateful for this award from the Florida Bar Foundation. It means so much to have our work recognized, and I'm so hopeful that the young lawyers will learn about trauma-informed care and therapeutic jurisprudence, and that they will make more informed decisions by knowing the science. We really have seen that how compelling the science is, and that when we bring the science into the courtroom, that we can change the tragedy that brings so many children and families into the courtroom into an opportunity to heal. I'm so proud of our early childhood court judges and the lawyers and the teams that have learned the science and are making such better informed decisions for our children and families. I'm so grateful for the opportunity to do this work, and I'm so humbled by this award.
Congratulations to Dr. Graham, Judge Fay, and Judge King on receiving the Florida Bar Foundation's highest honor.
Thank you, Ava, and thank you, Judge Huck, and congratulations to the honorees. It was my pleasure and great honor to join our Executive Director, Donnie McKenzie, to present the Medal of Honor Awards to Judges Fay and Judge King in person in their homes. And they were so gracious and kind and welcoming, and I could have listened to their stories all day long and will never forget it. Our first Vice President, Judge Suzanne Van Wyck, also had the honor of presenting the non-lawyer award personally to Dr. Graham. The foundation is immensely proud of our 3 2020 recipients. Thank you for spending time with us today to learn about their tremendous accomplishments and to hear from each of them. We're joined now by the Honorable Judge Catherine Peake McEwen of the United States Bankruptcy Court for the Middle District of Florida. Judge McEwen was the first recipient of the Chief Justice's Distinguished Federal Judicial Service Award, and she is now spearheading our effort to revive the ONE campaign to encourage more Florida lawyers to take pro bono cases. The campaign is called the ONE Promise Campaign. I ask you all to please be on the lookout for more announcements and opportunities to participate. And I thank Judge McEwen for now closing out our virtual ceremony.
Thank you for the introduction, Mr. Sen, and congratulations and thank you to all of our honorees and the program winners this afternoon. And thank you all who are watching for staying with us and watching this. Those attending today's event are not necessarily the target audience for my concluding remarks because you all already support and promote the mission of the foundation, which is principally giving access to justice in the form of pro bono service. But maybe something that I will say at the end, near the end, will trigger some new action on your part. Medal of Honor winners, Judges Fay and King, and today's non-lawyer Medal of Honor winner, Dr. Graham, as well as the President's Award winners, Judges Corrigan, Howard, Dalton, and Young, all have something in common. They are all leaders. They look for ways to improve access to justice, to mentor, and to foster professionalism. So what did these and other leaders who promote pro bono service do to encourage others to meet their obligation to provide the poor with access to justice? And I include here all judges and heads of law firms. Well, in the case of professionals involved in therapeutic jurisprudence like Dr. Graham or as Ms. Bonilla described with supportive decision-making, they look for innovative ways to make the system more accessible physically and emotionally, including bringing to us judges new ways of looking at the justice system through the eyes of those that they advocate for. And in the case of lawyer professionals like our judicial honorees, they encourage lawyers to meet the solemn oath that they take when they are admitted to the bar, just like Judge Corrigan did before us today. And I didn't even ask him to do that. I think we have a slide to share with everybody so you can be reminded of the exact words. What we swore that we would do is never reject the cause of the defenseless or oppressed. You heard Judge Fay say in the video, do what is right. You also heard Judge King talk about the importance of one's reputation. And that reputation includes whether you are a man or woman of your word. And that, in turn, means keeping your word about representing the defenseless or oppressed. You can take the slide down now. Thank you. Leaders who promote pro bono service also take time to thank and acknowledge the volunteers and provide perks to them, such as allowing them to go to the front of the docket line. But what more can leaders who promote pro bono service do that is new and different to encourage others to take that one case, keep that promise, keep their word? I have some suggestions. I know we're running short on time. I have a very long list, but I hope you'll bear with me for just 10 suggestions to get you thinking. Number one, leaders can advocate that firms draw from and adopt the best practices suggested by the Florida Bar Business Law Section's Pro Bono Best Practices Guide for Firms. If you want to know where you can find it, Google for the August 7th, 2020 Florida Bar News write-up about it, and that includes a link. Number two, they can point out all the various ways pro bono service can be performed in various chunks of time, from something as quick as Florida's participation in free legal answers to taking on a long Hague Act case. And opportunities come in all different kinds of subject matter areas too. And I liken this to the many flavors of Baskin Robbins. There's a pro bono case, a pro bono need to fit your taste. Number three, they can point folks to an easy way to find a case by going to the Foundation's own floridaprobonomatters.com, which includes a filter for area, subject matter, and the like. Number four, they can point out that most pro bono opportunities come with experienced mentor and training. So that excuse of, I don't know about that area is really no excuse at all. Number five, they can point out that the pandemic has taught us something. It's taught us that pro bono legal service can be performed over the phone or the computer, and at times that are most convenient for the working poor who don't need to worry about a lack of transportation now or having to miss work. Number six, judges can initiate a legal assistance program, such as we have in Middle Florida, that matches indigent people with lawyers who have signed up to be on call. Or the judges can work with bar associations to create a virtual clinic, as our district court and bankruptcy court did in the Middle District. Number seven, judges can also help create do-it-yourself resources for indigents and make them available on the court's website. Number eight, firm leaders looking to provide first chair experience to younger members to increase those younger members' value to the firm can call the judges and tell them, please call me when you spot an indigent that is in need of counsel, and we'll staff it with one of our young people. Number nine, leaders can also urge that the aspirational goal of 20 hours of free legal service to the poor be accompanied by, yes, get off your wallet, a monetary gift to the foundation or their local legal services provider. The value of a single hour of billable time won't be missed by the donor, but it will go far for the recipient. And number 10, finally, these leaders can look for new and different ways to thank volunteer lawyers when they do take that one case and keep that promise. When the pandemic lifts, maybe a little pizza party at the courthouse, for example. Or the firms can do that for its pro bono lawyers. I'm going to wrap it up now. As Judge Corrigan so forcefully described and eloquently, the need for pro bono service is real. And that need is only going to get more acute as we work through and come out of the pandemic. We as a society cannot expect the rule of law to be revered by everyone, all of our citizens, without increasing access to justice for the marginalized. For that reason, every member of the bar, not just the leaders who are here today on this platform, must embrace pro bono service. I'm going to conclude with some inspiring words I saw from Sergeant Shriver's 1999 speech at the National Center for Poverty Law. He said this: "As a lawyer, I believe that our government, my government, your government, and my profession and your profession have a positive moral and legal duty to make sure that legal services are available to the poor on an accessible, affordable, regular, dignified basis, and if necessary, even free of charge." Which means that, these are his words, "I as a lawyer believe that some significant part of my money, time, thought, and energy belongs. I don't give it, it belongs to others, not just me." Thank you all.
By nature, but if you
Raquel, I think that Charlie's volunteering to participate or help with a call.
Everyone, I believe that we are going to unmute everyone's microphone. If you would like to unmute yourself and have any remarks, anyone, we have a few extra minutes and can open the floor to whoever would like to have any further conversation. Andrea, if you could go ahead and unmute everyone. Also, while I'm on, I'd like to thank the staff members of the foundation who put together today's presentation. I think it came together very well, and I thank you all for joining us.
This is Pete Fay.
I'm sorry. You have already done what I was going to suggest, and that is that Steve and Donnie and his lovely executive assistant have done such a tremendous job of putting this on. And it was a real pleasure for me. And I know Judge Fay, we both talked about the personal visits that you made to our homes and presenting this incredibly important award and the work you do. But Judge Fay speaks about these things much better than I do, but I'm sure he wouldn't mind my talking for him to express our joint thanks and appreciation for all the kindnesses you've shown and the tremendous job you've done putting this on and the tremendous job the foundation does. A year in Paul Huck, we both say thank you, Paul. We've never heard such nice things said about ourselves through the years, but thank you very much.
Unmute. You want to unmute.
You're muted.
Judge Fay, you're on mute.
Press something else.
There you go. You're good now, Judge.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
I'd like to take just a few minutes and thank the people involved in the selection process. And I can tell you, very few people have ever had a friend like Paul Huck. But it's such a great honor, and I'm really humbled by the Florida Bar Foundation. You do such great work, and you have for years and years. And I'm very proud again to be a Florida lawyer, and I'm proud of the process, and I thank all of you for a wonderful day.
I would just like to say congratulations, Dad, Judge King, and to all the other recipients. Another proud moment. Thank you.
I'd like to echo that. It's Jenna. Thank you. Steve, thank you to everyone at the foundation. This was a really touching ceremony. I so wish that we could be there in person, but it is wonderful seeing everyone on the little screens. Dad, we even saw Maya, your cat, run across. But congratulations to Dad. Congratulations, Judge Fay. Love you guys so much, and thank you for doing this.
Thank you, Jenna. Anyone else like to say a few words? We're getting pretty close to our closing time.
This is retired Judge Lynn Tepper. I just want to say on behalf of the judges in the state of Florida, Dr. Graham's impact has been tremendous, and it has changed the trajectory of hundreds and hundreds of adults and children that pass through our doors hoping for justice. And now, thanks to all of the education that Dr. Graham has shepherded, it has made a difference for this generation and the next to come. Thank you, Dr. Graham.
Thank you, Judge Tepper.
It's Stuart Grossman from Santa Barbara. I just want to thank Judges Fay and King for setting the standard for our profession. There's nothing you haven't done that is less than excellent. And I'm so grateful to have been before you and call you my friends. Thank you for everything.
All right, friends, if there are no other remarks, I think we'll go back to the sponsor slides. I appreciate everyone's participation today. We had well over 100 people tune in at different points of the proceeding. So we may do with difficult circumstances, but I really am proud of how this turned out. And thank you all for helping to make it such a great event.
Okay.